Hi, my name is Alex Carlucci. I'm with Gustan Associates. I want to talk to you about Chapter 13 bankruptcy, getting a home while you're currently in a Chapter 13. Not a lot of investors do this. This is our sweet spot. We love it. Give us a call. We know this product so well, and we can help you through this. So I'm going to give you the skinny on how this is going to go down. So you're going to call me. You're going to say, I'm in a Chapter 13. First question I'm going to ask you is, how long have you been in a Chapter 13? You're going to say 6 months. I'm going to say, I can't help you because you have to be in the Chapter 13 for at least 12 payments. And if you say 12 payments or more, I say, okay, the next question will be, have you been late on your Chapter 13 bankruptcy? And hopefully your answer is no. If you have been late, you're disqualified immediately for a long time, 2 years probably. So don't be late on your Chapter 13 bankruptcy payments at all. The next question I'm going to ask you is, have you opened any new credit cards or any credit trade lines since? And you're going to tell me yes or no. If you said yes, I'm going to say, have you been late on those? And hopefully the answer is no, because if you've been late on any new credit you've got since you opened a Chapter 13, it makes it very difficult, almost impossible, some exceptions here and there. So hopefully you're not late on anything you've opened since your Chapter 13 was filed. And new collection started. You don't want a collection to pop up unless it's medical. That's not going to hurt you. So after I ask you those questions, I'm going to say, do you pay rent? And you're going to say yes. And then I'm going to ask you this. Do you have 12 months canceled checks? And a lot of you say, no, I pay cash. And that's a problem. So paying cash on your rent is a definite problem on a manual underwrite. Hopefully you can plan a little bit ahead of this and start paying with checks, because they don't take cash payments for rent. They don't let you verify it unless you're paying a management company. If you're paying a management company, the management company can give us a verification that you've been paying on time. If you're paying a guy, that guy can lie, and they don't trust that. So that's one of the problems that could come up if you're paying cash to a guy that you're just renting from. If you don't pay rent because you live with family, we can get you through what's called living with family letter, where your family member proves that they own the house or they're on the lease, and they write the letter saying that you live rent-free, and then you write the letter saying you live rent-free. That would cover that. The problem with that is it may cause a payment shock to your new mortgage, because now you're paying nothing, and on a manual underwrite, you're also going to pay $1,000 or $2,000. It's called payment shock because you're going from 0 to 1,000, and that could be a problem, as I'm going to discuss a little bit later. So after I find out you've paid rent, you've not been late in your Chapter 13, not late on anything else since you filed the Chapter 13, I'm going to say, what do you have in the bank in terms of assets? And hopefully you have money. So if you have money, that's good, because the manual underwrite wants to see at least 1 month reserves and up to 3 months reserves after you close. So that's after you pay the down payment, after you pay the closing costs, you have at least 1 month or maybe possibly 3 months reserves in the bank. That has to be your money. The down payment, the closing costs can be gifted, but the reserves has to be yours. So save money. The reason that you're going to ask for reserves is because on a manual underwrite there's 3 tiers, and it's debt-to-income ratios: 31/43, 37/47, and 40/50. If you want to go to the max debt-to-income ratio of 40/50, you're going to probably need 3 months reserves, no payment shock, residual income test, or additional income we're not using to qualify you. Those are the 4 compensating factors. So usually people can come up with 3 months reserves, that usually hits it. Now, if you live with family of payment shock, you're not going to pass that. So the 40/50 is going to require 2 compensating factors. So 3 months reserves is usually one of them. Residual income is usually another. So those are the 2 that I usually pass people with. The payment shock is very, very common. Now, when it comes to payment shock, the next thing I'm going to ask you is, what's your rent? And this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you you're going to have to call your trustee through your bankruptcy attorney, and you're going to have to find out the probability of your trustee approving a $1,200 payment when you're currently paying $1,000. And every county is different, every trustee is a little different, and then your bankruptcy attorney might know the probability of a payment shock that the trustee would approve. So trustees represent the creditors that you've renegotiated your debt with. And those trustees don't like to see you going from paying $1,000 to $2,000 a month, and they're probably not going to approve that payment because you have an extra $1,000 a month now. Why aren't you paying the creditors back? So that's how trustees think. So you want to stay close to the current rent payment you're paying. Now, if you're living with family or paying 0, you're always going to have payment shock, and the trustee's going to probably look at you within reason that you're buying something that's not excessive. And it's going to be a judgment call on your trustee. So your bankruptcy attorney is going to help you with that. I'm going to tell you to call your bankruptcy attorney and ask him what he thinks about this, And I'm gonna ask you, how long does it take to get the order from the judge? Sometimes it's 3 weeks, sometimes it's 6 weeks. And you need to know that, because when you go buy a house and it's gonna take 6 weeks to a trustee to approve this thing that we're doing together, buying a house, then we need to make the purchase contract 60 days, because I need that order at least a week, probably 2 weeks before we close. So that 60 days would cover on a 6-week time period. So keep that in mind, that trustees take a while to approve these. And so once I know that you've paid your, let's just say you're perfect, paid your bankruptcy on time for the last 12 months, paid rent on time, we can verify, not been late on a bankruptcy or any new debt, you have all the reserve requirements, or you pass 2 of the 4 compensating factor tests, and now we look at the income and make sure that your income qualifies you, and you fit within the 40-50 ratio, worst case scenario, that's the highest one you can go to, then I'm going to tell you it really doesn't matter what your credit score is as long as it's above a 500. And most of you will be above a 500 after a year filing a Chapter 13. You should be. So that's to me right there. If you're not late, I know right there that we have a deal, as long as we don't have payment shock. That's the tricky part with the trustee. And if the trustee's also going to ask you this question, this is very important. They're going to say, where's the down payment and closing costs coming from? You don't want to tell them you have $20,000 saved up in the bank. That's going to be a problem. The trustee's going to want that money. So you should get a gift from your family members for your down payment for a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and not use, hopefully you don't have any, you want to have money, but it really shouldn't be your money, because the trustees will say, where are you going to get the down payment? You're going to say, I have 20 grand. They're going to say, give that to us, and let's pay the creditors off. So you got to be careful on that. Your bankruptcy attorney should advise you through that. And once I get to that point, I'm writing you a pre-approval, and then you're going to get a contract for, let's say, 60 days, and I'm going to send all the documentation of that loan application in to your bankruptcy attorney, who's going to now create a court date with the trustee. And the docs that I'm going to need from you are the typical docs: W-2s, pay stubs, 2 months bank statements, copies of IDs, purchase contract, and one additional thing I'm going to need is the trustee. It's a sheet that they print off from the website that shows that you've been on time the last 12 months in your bankruptcy. And I'm going to submit that loan to the bank, and you're going to submit the closing costs, the terms of the loan, the purchase contract to the trustee, and the trustee is going to take however long it takes to approve it. And if they approve it, we cannot change the address, we cannot change the loan amount, and the rate can't be worse than the rate that we put on there. So we have to get that right, and everything has to be better in terms of the fees or the rate. It can't be worse. The underwriters will make you go back to the trustee. There goes another 6 weeks. So we're going to put a higher number on there for cost, a higher number on there for rate. And that's the process of going through a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and what we need to get done, and how complicated it can be, but it's not so bad. We are the best at it. This is our forte. We do this the best. You've got to call us on this. If you please do. If you want to see more blogs, more videos on this topic, we cover it all over gustanshow.com. That's GUSTANCHO.com. Call me anytime at 630-915-7550. Thank you very much. Like and share this video.